Hey guys, welcome back. We have a midweek energy update to get into now. This week, we are moving through our once yearly Sun-Saturn conjunction week. We get one Sun-Saturn conjunction a year. It's happening on today, actually, Wednesday, March 12th. And whenever we're dealing in strong Saturnian energy, whether it be by conjunction, opposition, or square, it's generally gonna have us feeling like we're under some pressure, overwhelm, duties, responsibilities, lots of work going on, things to do with perhaps bosses, authority figure, career. This can be a more depressing energy. And we can feel just like we are at the end, burnt out, drained. This is happening in the sign of Pisces. And remember, in 2 days, on the 14th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse that is also occurring in the Pisces Virgo axis, talking about some type of release and karmic endings, you guys. We are in a time of highly fated events and also extreme karmic release. Things are coming, but things are also definitely going. And after we move through this next 2 weeks and close out the month of March, there's going to be an influx of some major changes coming into our lives as well. So if you do feel like things just can't go on this way, something needs to give, something needs to change, that's really the state of things energetically as well. And we are on the precipice of some great change. But right now, it's all about these like tests of faith, tests of resilience, perseverance, reviews, reassessments. We've got a lot of retrograde energy that is coming in right now as well. And we've got a lot to talk about, you guys. So let's just get into our report, take a look at all of this in some more detail, where we are at and how things are coming together as we hit the midpoint of our week and what some of these transitions are looking like for us as we head towards the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end. We're going to start with the astrology. Sun conjunct Saturn day, you guys. Joy now. There are positives to this energy. There are upsides to this energy. This is a very goal-oriented energy. Although I will say, progress probably feels like it's happening pretty slow here. But, you know, one foot in front of the other, the tortoise before the hare, you know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe here. Just incremental progress towards whatever the ultimate goal is. That's where we want to try to stay focused, even if it feels like everything is working against us, or we're never going to get there, or we're really questioning our ability to have faith or trust in our own personal capabilities. This is a difficult energy, okay? Sun and Saturn together always tests us. Saturn is the judge, okay? It's like the great disciplinarian out there. Saturn is the lord of karma. Saturn is the lord of time. Saturn brings us our karmic lessons and our karmic tests, but also gives us the ability to endure, to overcome, to persevere through challenges. And we end up maturing or growing up or becoming more self-reliant somehow as a result of whatever it is that we go through with a Sun-Saturn conjunction as it takes place every year. So challenges, tests on one hand, on the other hand, an enhanced ability to like rise to that challenge and overcome those obstacles and struggles, go through some type of personal leveling up, okay? And in this specific context, because this is happening in the sign of Pisces, in a trine with Mars as well in the sign of Cancer, and also a relative conjunction to the North Node right before we head into this full moon in Virgo, the polarizing sign to where this Pisces alignment is taking place. The moon will be there. This is also an eclipse. I do feel like, you know, we're coming to a point of transition. if it feels like the burden is like too much or like things just aren't moving, there's something that probably does need to change. And most specifically, that change may involve some type of release, having to let go of something, coming to the end of something, like closing a chapter, moving on from something somehow. Or this could really have to do with like schedules, routines, habits, lifestyles, also things related to work and career. There's definitely something about like changing up the way that we do the day to day in a way that may actually open things up for us and help them to start moving forward, coming in over the course of this next couple of weeks. We got a full moon eclipse in the sign of Virgo. Virgo has to do with habits, routines, day to day life, lifestyle, health, diet, nutrition, stuff like that as well. And with the south node there, this being a full moon lunar eclipse, it seems as though there is some ending in essentially the patterning through which our day-to-day life has normally operated for a long period of time as a result of something that goes on. And you know, some change causing us to alter our day-to-day life or our lifestyle or certain habits. This is very, very good energy for editing. I was talking about this in another one of our another video I put out not too long ago, like making lifestyle edits here for the purpose of some type of personal upgrade. Super supported in not only the energy of this week with that Saturnian influence, which does ask us to like elevate. It does ask us to rise to the bar, to rise to the challenge, to overcome perhaps something that is not the easiest thing, but once we make it through, kind of is representative of that gateway or that precipice to that change that is incoming. So it feels like we've got some final tests going on. All of this Pisces energy, the fact that this alignment is happening in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It is about endings. So I do think, you guys, that we are at a point of karmic release. Another thing that I want to say about this energy, just generally the times that we're moving through right now, there's a tremendously karmic influence to things over this next couple of weeks between essentially now and the end of March, like March 29th, March 30th. We're essentially, I think, kind of like just along for the ride. Things largely are being put in a certain way at a certain time in a certain place. I do think by this spiritual influence that is so permeating our reality right now as we close out this last couple weeks of our Pisces season and also our 2024 astrological energetic lunar year, which always begins with the new moon in Aries, which is coming up with this next solar eclipse that follows the lunar eclipse that we have on the 14th. I think it's the 28th or the 29th when the new moon in Aries comes in, and that will be our solar eclipse. That will be the official astrological energetic lunar new year. Will happen with the new moon in Aries that is coming up next, as I said, with that solar eclipse in the end of March. But between now and then, these are like crazy spiritual times. I do think that a lot of people are going to be having some pretty pronounced or profound spiritual experiences, spiritual phenomena, interactions, divine alignment, like miracles and things that make it really kind of hard to doubt in the presence of a higher power somehow. Even for people that have never been believers, this period of time might present something that changes or alters that somehow. But I do think a lot of people are going to be having perhaps some type of spiritual awakening over this next couple weeks, or just feeling, like literally feeling or noticing or recognizing the hand of the divine, fate, destiny at play in their life, in their world, synchronicity, coincidence in a way that is undeniable, and again, that is leading to some type of life change. Okay, eclipse season always indicates a majorly transitional point, maybe some climactic life changes going on each year, and this one I think is going to be hitting pretty hard. It also is very, because of the Saturnian influence, and Virgo also, the Saturn vibe and also the Virgo energy are both kind of like work, career, financially oriented. So we could see some big changes happen in those regards. And obviously, if there are career changes, job changes, work changes going on, this is probably going to have the like backhanded impact, the consequence, the side effect of altering the day-to-day habits and routines and the lifestyle and stuff like that. So that is, I think, probably quite a common way that this energy will be manifested among a plethora of other ways that this energy is indicated to perhaps present itself as well. And so let's get into some of the other vibes that might just be going on out there, as we do have our Sun-Saturn alignment taking place today. Generally, though, as I said in my intro, and whenever we've got a strong Saturn influence, you can just feel under pressure. Important business, important negotiations, examining what's been produced as well. This whole Virgo harvest theme, like how have things been working? What have we been reaping from the efforts that we're putting in? What needs to be simplified? That's another thing that this energy is really doing for us. It's about minimalizing, simplifying, downsizing, getting rid of what is not useful, what is not effective, what is not valuable, what is essentially just taking up like resources and time, but is not contributing to the overall output. Those are cuts, I think, that are going to be being made probably like on a grander scale in a lot of ways in this energy right now. Also, tests though, grades, assessments, and reviews. With this Virgo energy and the Saturn energy as well, this could be very nitpicking, and Saturn is authority figures and bosses. There could definitely be performance reviews that are underway. This is also a very detail-oriented energy, quite critical, quite judgmental and perfectionistic. Little things may be bothering you. You may really be finding the flaws and things to be standing out, or people might be complaining a lot about various flaws that they're noticing or recognizing. This can also have to do with laws and rules and boundaries and traditions, maybe feeling contained, feeling restrained, or held back for some reason. As I said, authority, work, responsibility, duty, obligation, and it is a serious energy. It's a somber energy. It's also very like mature and quite like conservative and traditional, focused. It can be pessimistic. That's sometimes what we're dealing with when we've got strong Saturn energy, and also just this drained feeling, especially in the water signs, like drained in the trine to Mars. Oh, I should have said in the beginning, the Sun-Saturn conjunction is happening, really making two aspects. One is a trine to Mars in the sign of Cancer. One is a conjunction to the North Node in the sign of Pisces. Neither of these are exact. There's a few degree orb separation between both of them. So, you know, they're not super turned up, but nonetheless still present. And this burnout with Mars in the sign of Cancer, trining Saturn and Pisces. I've been talking about this energy a lot over the past couple weeks. Mars trining Saturn to me is a master builder energy, because Mars is our energy, it's our output, it's our activity, it's our behavior, it's what we're channeling our energy into. And Saturn is precision, detail-oriented, perfectionism, refined, like this highly focused energy. And when we have these two influences operating in a trine, we have the ability and the aptitude to just really truly build and create with our energy works of like masterful creation, and they can serve the test of time. Like I've been saying, especially also with the Piscean influence and the North Node and Neptune in the conjunction so prominent, I do think that there are like new classics being created right now, art, music, all things to do with like creative and artistic industries that we are probably unaware of in the moment, but will for some reason like going down the line significantly into the future history. Like when we look back, we'll be like, oh, that's when that great artist or composer put that piece together, which we're still listening to now. That's the kind of energy that can manifest into like physical creation when we've got these two influences, especially with the Piscean Cancer water energy. That's the ability to channel like divine inspiration and manifest it into this masterful creation that endures. Okay, but another way that this energy can manifest with Saturn, restriction, control, limitation, restraint, if we're not applying that to the way that we are using our energy in pursuit of our goals right now, and we're just kind of like interfacing with it in not so controlled and directed of a way, it can cause like our ability to move forward to be blocked, to be limited, like constraints and limitations to what we're trying to produce, to what we're trying to get started. Mars is our energy, right? It's trying to drive things forward. Mars recently stationed direct, so there's this energetic push to move ahead, but with a Saturnian influence, it's like slow. Like things are happening, but it's just slow, gradual, and it might seem like it's just this never-ending effort to like make the smallest bit of manifestation or change or, you know, whatever it is, progress happen, but it's just because of the way that this energy is together or coming together. And again, tests of faith, tests of our resilience, tests of our endurance, tests of our will. Another element of all this also is we have Mercury and Venus retrograde in a conjunction right now in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And Mercury's about to station retrograde the day after that full moon lunar eclipse coming up here. This is also making me think that it has to do also with like us realizing perhaps what it is that we really want, or maybe revising our idea of what it is that we really truly want, the contents of our heart, what we want to invest in, what we want to commit to, who and what we're attracted to and find value in and want to relate to in order to like build or move forward with whatever's going on with Mars, of course, ruling the position of Mercury and Venus right now. Mercury is the mind, Venus is the heart, like thinking about what we want, reconsidering what we want, reconsidering what we're committed to, what we're connected to, what we're attracted to, what we're invested in. And then Mars in the trine to Saturn in the context of what we're trying to push forward, the foundations that we're trying to lay, what we're trying to build, the direction that we're trying to go in, and maybe facing some of this limitation in our ability to move forward in that direction. So, you know, on one hand, very great energy for self-discipline, self-control, persistence, and moving forward towards the goal, towards the vision, even if we can't see how on earth we're going to get there, like having the belief and the faith that if we just keep going, eventually we'll make it. Coming up against the other side where we just feel like giving up, feel hopeless, feel, you know, pessimistic, like we'll never get there, nothing's ever working out, no matter how much effort we put in, it's like we can't get ahead. And Pisces is a very dualistic sign. You guys say this all the time. The glyph itself is represented by two fish swimming in opposite directions. When we're dealing with Piscean energy, things are likely to be strongly one way, but also strongly the other way. It also has a lot to do with blurring the lines between fantasy and reality, truth and illusion. What is real? What is possible? What is logical? What is rational? What is practical with the Saturnian energy? And also the dream, the vision, the ideal, the inspiration, the faith that we can make it happen, that we can accomplish our goals, that we just need to keep going and moving forward. So this could be sort of something that we're cycling through during this period of time as well over this next couple weeks, sort of teetering back and forth between whether I should keep going or whether I should just throw in the towel and give up now and go in another direction. And again, like, what you should do in that case is going to have a lot to do with what it is that's truly in your heart, right? With this Mercury-Venus conjunction, if you come to find that you have been investing in something that is just not doing it for you anymore, that is not filling you up, that is no longer aligned with your realization of that which is truly fulfilling to you on that heart and soul based type of level, or in alignment with this personal upgrade that you may find yourself going through right now, because that's another dimension of this. We are being elevated, we are being asked to upgrade. It's not easy, we're having to do the work to get there, but we are also no longer allowed to be attached to anyone that is keeping us detached from our purpose, from our potential, from our, talk about this destiny and karma. Destinies are being activated in this energy, but the flip side of that is what needs to be released in order such that that particular destiny can be moved toward. When we're dealing with the North and the South node, as we are always dealing with the North and the South node during eclipse seasons, whenever we have our full moons and our new moons occurring within a certain degree range of the nodes of the moon each year, that's what brings us our eclipse season. And the North node, this is the destiny point. It's known as the head of the dragon as well, what we're sort of being compulsively pulled towards. It's the next phase of growth, the next phase of collective evolution. South node is karmic release. It's what perhaps we are very acquainted with, know very well, and have become very good at and very comfortable with. But if we continue to stay in that energy, if we continue to hold on to that, we are diminishing our ability to grow going forward. And when we've got a North node activation going on, that is not our choice. We've got soul growth that we need to do. And if we're not putting ourselves on that path, if we are not letting go of the things that are, keeping us stationary, keeping us stagnant, then we're going to experience changes in our lives that facilitate the process of growth that universe is moving us towards right now. And with the North node in the sign of Pisces, I've been talking about this. This is actually a period of time that has a lot to do with spiritual growth. So it's really no wonder that we might be having some very profound spiritual experiences throughout this period of time as well, because really that is what this transit of the North node through Pisces indicates. But the back end of that, again, the South node in Virgo, is some type of a release in terms of our attachment to the material world, our day-to-day, the habits and routines that have defined us. There's got to be a change that goes on there so that we can go through this personal upgrade, elevate in some capacity in the context of our own spiritual nature, and move forward according to this next cosmic plan that is unfolding in the moment. So ultimately, with the Sun-Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces right now, this is a time that is testing our faith. The rest of the month is about reconciling karmic debts, I think, that we both owe and are owed. The threads of time are weaving themselves together between now and that new moon in Aries solar eclipse that will come up next. And as I said earlier, I do think more so than in normal energetic environments, we are just kind of along for the ride right now. This is not a great time to really jump all into anything, to make commitments, to make investments. Again, this is a time of transitions and endings more so. The new energy is coming in, you guys, but it's not coming in until we get to that new moon in Aries. And literally like the next day after the new moon in Aries, which is the beginning of a new energetic cycle, year-long lunar cycle from new moon in Aries, of course, to new moon in Aries, Neptune is entering the sign of Aries like the very next day. We've got some crazy astrology coming up. That is a major energetic shift, only second to Pluto having just entered the sign of Aquarius. And Aries, of course, is about a fresh start and a brand new cycle. So things are going to change, you guys. And again, if you feel like you're sort of at the end of it right now, we are at the end of it right now. We are in the last 2 years energetically of this. No, not the last 2 years, the last 2 weeks energetically of this year. And we are talking about the past. We are talking about, we got Venus retrograde conjunct Mercury, and Mercury is also about to station retrograde. Those are also throwing it back to the past energies, karmic energies, things that need to be reconsidered, things that need to be resolved. And then of course we've got the full moon, which is about release. And we've got the lunar eclipse, which is also about release, letting things go. And then of course, just all this Pisces energy generally, the ending of something, release, letting go. So endings and beginnings, heavy on the endings as we move through this next couple of weeks. It is a more difficult energy. It is perhaps making us question our own motivations, even again, our own abilities, what we're truly capable of, and what we even really want for ourselves. We could also find ourselves evaluating our past actions, our past behaviors, how they've worked out, where they've led us, and also maybe therefore having some realizations about what fundamentally needs to change, what we need to restructure within our own lives in order to maybe not have to be so burdened by these issues, or to open things up for ourselves, or just what we need to let go of or what we need to release. And this could also be, there could be loss indicated with this as well. There could be like important or significant like people or authority figures, or just people of prominence in our lives that for some reason are leaving our lives, or that we're losing touch with or losing contact with. It could also be people from the past, maybe authority figures, or just influential individuals that are popping up that we have maybe karmic ties to for some reason. And this could also be in a more spiritual regard because of all the Piscean energy, faith, belief, spirituality, religion, or some type of spiritual authority or prominent or important spiritual figure. We could see the passing of or the rise of. Both falls from and ascensions to grace could be something that are going on during this time as well. Again, especially maybe in terms of prominent spiritual figures now through the end of March. Or it could even just be the experience, again, like these spiritual phenomenon, divine intervention, miraculous interfaces with another power somehow. There could just be this like pronounced experience of some type of higher power being in control somehow. When we're talking about Saturn, about control in the sign of Pisces, having to do with beliefs, spirituality, religion, higher power. Pisces energy is also a lot about surrender, and I do think that our ability to kind of surrender to circumstances right now while not giving up and continuing to just work towards that goal, even again if it does feel like some type of relentless effort right now, I do think that ultimately our hard work is going to pay off in the end. You know, another element of a Sun-Saturn conjunction, this can also be a time of hard work being recognized. You can also receive like promotions and acknowledgement and recognition from superiors for a job well done in this energy. So it's not necessarily like just the downside and the pressure and the burden and the overwhelm. There is also this ability, as I've stated, to, you know, sort of the flip side of that coin, to rise to the challenge and to be recognized for a job well done, for effort put in. It may have been a long time coming, but you could also get that type of thing, you know, promotion in this energy as well. And even if this is more so a time of challenges and tests maybe than recognition and rewards, the endurance, again, the endurance, the skill, the patience, the perseverance, the self-discipline maybe, or self-control, what we prove to ourselves we're capable of in this energy is also part of some necessary lesson that's associated with some destiny we're moving towards and some karmic pattern that we are releasing ourselves from as we move forward into this energy. Now, I want to take a brief pause in the astrology for just a moment to remind you guys about the brand Otter Spirit. I'm doing another collaboration with them, and today I am wearing some bracelets specifically that I think would be very good crystal remedies in this particular Saturn Sun Pisces conjunction energy. I have, as you guys can see here, I have this one bracelet, this black bracelet. It is the stone shungite, and I also have this mini beaded bracelet that is labradorite. Now, I personally am a huge fan of the stone shungite for a lot of reasons. It is a very protective, grounding stone. It also is known actually to be protective against certain types of EMF radiation as well, which is another reason that I like to wear it, especially in bracelet form, because you know you're always holding your phone or around, you know, a device and stuff like that, and I feel like it's good shielding to have it in bracelet form, which is actually one reason that I ordered this particular shungite bracelet. But whenever you order anything from Otter Spirit, here's the little logo. They come with this card, which gives a lot of properties of the specific stone. And shungite says on the card that came with the bracelet, it says, I cleanse myself from harmful energies. The intention is protection. The zodiac signs are Scorpio, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, and it's associated with a root chakra. So when I was thinking about my video today and just the energy present in this heavy Saturn energy, and the fact that it's also about release, this is a very good detoxifying stone, and it's of course also associated with that Saturn energy, that root chakra energy, that foundational energy. So I was like, oh, perfect stone to wear today. And if you got a piece of shungite out there, or if you're interested in some really beautiful shungite, obviously I recommend Otter Spirit for that. And then the other bracelet that I have on is labradorite, which was a perfect sort of counter to the shungite in terms of this energy. So that's my crystal recommendation remedy for this particular energetic setup. If you've got some shungite and if you've got some labradorite, throw them together. It kind of, you know, just it's sort of like energetic support, I think, in this energetic context. But the labradorite says, I am the change I want to see in the world. Remember, this energy is all about being very transitional and the changes that we need to make to essentially upgrade ourselves. Labradorite is a very spiritual stone. It's about intuition, and it's associated with Pisces, also Sagittarius, Aquarius, Scorpio, and the third eye chakra, which is interesting because we've got this heavy Saturn energy, but it's in the sign of Pisces and it's with the sun. So it's also this very spiritual, intuitive energy. So anyways, that is my, and I'm going to try to do this over my next couple of videos. I want to show you guys all of these bracelets that I just got. Otter Spirit is a really great company. I recommend, if you're looking for some functional jewelry that is beautiful but also has an intention and purpose behind it, I recommend checking out their website. They literally, like, you can search for stones based on their intention and function if you want something specific, or you can search based on the stone and it will pull up all the jewelry they make with that stone, and you can get 20% off if you use my promo code Aubrey20 that is in my description box, and that link that is associated with it as well. Anyways, back to the astrology, now that I've like indulged in my jewelry fetish that I have slightly. I'm a Taurus North node, you guys. So, and that's the only earth energy that I literally have in my entire chart. I'm like all pretty much air and fire with a good heavy dose of Scorpio in there, and I have no earth energy at all except my North node. And I'm like always trying to lean into my North node, because like who I'm becoming, you know what I mean, is really the thing that grounds me when you have a only North node in the sign of Taurus. And I always love jewelry and like pretty things and trying to appear to be put together in some type of way. So I don't know if you've got a North node in Taurus out there and no other earth energy, maybe you can relate to that. But I'm really excited to have a jewelry company collaboration to be able to share the sparkly pretty things with you guys. So if you're not into that type of thing, sorry, but I think it's really fun, and I am. So I'm probably going to be talking about it more, and you can skip through it if you're not interested. Anyways, now let's get back into the astrology, you guys. Moon in Virgo. The moon is actually in Virgo from Wednesday through Friday. The full moon is happening in the later degrees of the signs of Pisces and Virgo. I think it's at like 24 or 25 degrees. Don't quote me on that exactly. I will be back on Friday with the exact degree placements as I do a whole video on our full moon lunar eclipse, which is the next energy coming up next. That's what we're moving into. We're talking about what's going on Wednesday, but we are keeping in mind, as I've mentioned several times throughout the course of this video, that things are going to be changing because we've got this big time energy that we are moving towards. But Moon in Virgo. Virgo's obviously, you know, it's a nitpicky sign. Virgo is also about the details. It's ruled by Mercury. It's logical, it's linear, it's rational. It's a sign of the harvest. It's like all about what we get out of what we put in, how we do things, and what value we can extract from them. And Saturn is also, of course, as I said earlier, the disciplinarian, the judge, the test, the teacher, like brings our karmic lessons, examines everything, sees the flaws. So I think that this energy could be heavy on being graded, being assessed, reviews, critiques, judgments. Also, the sign of Pisces washes things away, it dissolves things, it breaks things down, it erodes, okay? It cleansing, purification. Again, you know, we got the shungite. It is all about the detox, letting go of things, letting them be cleansed and taken from our life right now as we prepare for this change, or to be the change with the Labradorite. But anyways, simplifying, minimalizing, downsizing, downgrading, especially also within like organizations or institutions or like big businesses, government. With the Saturn thing, that could also be a vibe, like downsizing departments, cutting what is not useful, what is not contributing to the overall value, what is not leading to like the growth and the harvest when we're talking about this Virgo full moon energy that's coming in next. So that's definitely a vibe as well. And if you want to use the energy practically, getting rid of things, again, purging, cleansing, cleaning out. I mean, also with Mercury and Venus together, I talked about this in one of my other videos, like just getting rid of things that you no longer need. People are also going to be like divesting, decommitting, pulling out of things that they are not finding value in anymore as well. Financial deals, negotiations could be being renegotiated somehow in the energy of Wednesday, or as we're moving forward next week. There could be like important like conversations or legal situations, disputes being indicated with this, like settlements, contracts, and again, like the commitment, investment, partnership dimension with Venus retrograde in a conjunction with Mercury, who's about to station retrograde, also in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars in the trine to the Sun and Saturn together, things being reconsidered. Also, this is emphasizing the past. The past is probably going to be kind of like a primary influence perhaps now and again over the course of this next couple of weeks. Old friends, old relationships, maybe also like old properties, assets, possessions, values, preferences, comforts, styles. This could also be bringing up like throwbacks in terms of like music or creative artistic nostalgia, somehow hearing from or about these things, or old versions of things suddenly coming up, coming back, coming around to be reconsidered. But generally there is a cosmic push right now to reconsider what we want, to look at things differently, shifting values, shifting preferences, shifting desires and attractions. You could find yourself suddenly very turned off to something that maybe you'd been thought you could never live without, or that you thought you would always want. Lacking satisfaction with Venus retrograde in the conjunction to Mercury. Like we could be like, it could be the type of thing where it's just like nothing is good enough, like we just don't want it anymore, like just turned off, disappointment, demoralized, and unsatisfied could be major vibes for one reason or another. So if you feel kind of down, or like you're just dragging as we move through the week this week, like nothing's really doing it for you, or someone else also is dragging their feet, which could be literally like quite literal, or it could be metaphorical, of course, for your experience or for how people are acting. But Pisces rules the feet, and yeah, with the Sun Saturn energy like that, it could just feel again like slow, heavy, or dragging somehow. It's just on par with the current energetic course that we're on, because again, this next couple of weeks, it's like things are fading out, but after that, something shifts and things are going to start moving forward. But this really, really, really is great energy for organizing, planning, and again, like working towards your goals, taking those small steps in the right direction, not allowing yourself to get discouraged, with the understanding also that we're gonna have to change something, we're gonna have to release something. Most likely there could be loss associated with whatever it is that we are about to gain, but also at the time of endurance, it's a time of persistence, acting our faith and trusting without seeing. It's another kind of like lesson that I feel as though this energetic setup is presenting us. It's like, yes, but do you still have faith when it doesn't seem possible? Do you still have faith? Do you still believe when it seems like nothing is working? Higher powers in control right now, you guys, though. That is very, very, very evident by the karmic nature of the times, the North Node transiting through the sign of Pisces right now, Saturn ruling authority in the sign of Pisces. That legitimately is a higher power. And we've got very, very spiritual energy being indicated by the Sabian symbol placements as well on Wednesday. Let me tell you some of the indications coming through symbolically. The Sun-Saturn conjunction itself is happening at 23 degrees of the sign of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a materializing medium giving a seance. So that's literally, like a direct line of communication, open line of communication with the divine, with a higher power. That's what we're dealing with right now. There could be strange spiritual phenomenon that are going on, blowing our mind, leading to some type of spiritual awakening. We also have the position of Venus right now at 9 degrees of Aries. A seer gazes into a crystal ball in front of them, very, very much giving the same connotations, the same themes. Mysticism, spirituality, peering into the invisible realms in a way that is physically tangible, a higher power being present. We have Mars at 19 degrees of Cancer, a priest performing a marriage ceremony, more emphasis on the spiritual authority. We have Pluto right now at 4 degrees of Aquarius. A Hindu healer glows with a mystic healing power. This mysticism and the healing nature of the times right now. Another thing that I want to make sure to say is Pisces, Virgo, this access can also be related to health and healing as a part of whatever maybe changes that we're making to our lifestyle, our day-to-day habits, our routines. This is a great time for breaking addictions. This is a great time for making improvements to like diet and nutrition and like fitness and exercise and stuff like that. How we are caring for ourselves, how we are taking care of ourselves, how we are serving not only others but ourselves on the day-to-day basis. And this energy could also be emphasizing with the Pisces element, that would be the feet, with the Saturn element, that would be like the teeth and the bones, with the Virgo element, that could be like the digestive system and the stomach. So bones, teeth, like the skeletal structure when we're talking about the Saturnian energy, and then like the feet perhaps, and things to do with digestion and assimilation could be coming up right now, perhaps though also in some type of improvement that we are making to the way that we are caring for ourselves. And then Pluto, which is obviously this very powerful force at that degree about the mystic healing power. We also right now have Jupiter at 14 degrees of Gemini, bridging physical space and social distinction. Two men communicate telepathically, more of this sort of just phenomenon, sixth sense type of thing going on, the telepathic communication. And lastly, this is not exactly of a spiritual nature, but I do feel like it's also quite descriptive of the way that this energy is functioning. A teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images, talking about some type of upgrade, endings and beginnings, the way that things have been for long periods of time being redeveloped or redone in a way that is like suitable to the present moment, which with this Saturnian, Sun, Piscean element of everything, that is also altering the foundations from which the past has kind of like held things in place so that we can go through this point of transition and get rid of what is no longer working, what is no longer compatible with the new energy that's coming in and the new foundations and legacies that are being put in place and laid in the energy now and to come as we move into the new moon in Aries that is coming up. Big changes coming in April. Don't give up hope, you guys. This is showing us ultimately what we are capable of enduring. And it's sort of like the type of thing as well, like when you're doing it, when you're in the moment, it might feel difficult, it might feel hard, it might feel awful, it might feel impossible, but like once you get down the road and you look back at that, you are, you know, proud of what you were able to achieve. And you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that, you know? So internal confidence everywhere that we're perhaps feeling weak and maybe like incapable or like we can't do it in the energy now, on the backside of this, I think that we're actually going to end up gaining strength from what we recognize we had in us all along. Okay, so that's what I have to say, you guys, about the astrology for the midpoint of our week. Our tarot message is really funny along these lines as well to me. We have this, okay? We have, on the back of the deck, we have the 10 of Pentacles, or no, the 10 of Cups with the 8 of Cups in reverse next to it. Then we've got the 2 of Swords. And then on the other side of that, we've got the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles is a fresh start. This is like a brand new inspiration or idea or mindset about what is possible, what we want to invest in, and what we want to create. The other side of this spread, the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Cups in reverse, this is what we thought we wanted or what had been our vision of like kind of the ultimate emotional fulfillment in the past, no longer filling our cup, no longer being enough, no longer being reflective of what our soul actually needs to feel fulfilled. In between these two sets of cards, we have the 2 of Swords, blindfolded, indecision, caught in between, can't see what's going on. In between two, okay? And what are we in between two of? We're in between that which perhaps we had idealized, but we're realizing is not reflective of our true desire, and having to start over, essentially, like, or some brand new shift in perspective that totally alters what we like, or totally brings us to a place of needing to start something over, like setting out on a new road, seeing things through fresh eyes, having a new idea of what it is that we even want to build and create. And then here we are, blindfolded, stuck in between, feeling like we can't move, like we can't make a decision, like we're blocked in our ability to proceed forward in some type of a way, caught in between. Okay, that's very in alignment with a lot of the way that this astrology is coming together right now. Endings and beginnings, perhaps a sense of loss or needing to let go of something that we've been committed or invested in or to, or just some ideal or image that we had or held of ourselves, or what we wanted, or what we thought we wanted, or what we thought the ideal was, coming to realize that it just doesn't feel like, we don't feel whole, you know what I mean? Like we feel like something's missing. We feel like it's not doing it for us. We can't figure out why it's not enough, why we're not happy. Or maybe we realized that it wasn't actually what we thought it was. Like we thought we were getting the 10 of Pentacles, but what we really got was 8 empty cups with the 8 of Cups upside down, and like needing to maybe make a change, maybe move in another direction. But that other direction could be something that is brand new that maybe we've never thought about before, or could cause us to really, really, really reconsider what it is that we even want to invest in. But, you know, this page energy, it is all about the possibilities, and it is asking us to allow ourselves to maybe take a chance, take a risk, be inspired, reconnect perhaps to the inner child on some level. What maybe have we always wanted before we got caught up in the mirages of the world, material world, and life? I don't know, you guys. So anyways, that's how I feel like the tarot message is coming together. It could be, you know, having to do with so many different things, but it just seems like we are maybe like trying to decide if we want to continue with the direction that we were going, or if we need to make some type of abrupt change, fresh start something over. So that's that. We're gonna get one more card now. Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know? What would be one good final piece of advice? What should we tell ourselves as we move through this energy? What should we keep in mind? What should we remind ourselves? Our card says forgiveness, which is also Pisces energy. It's about forgiveness. It's about surrender. It's about letting go, moving on. Pisces is a mutable sign. It's about being adaptable, okay? So forgive, you guys. Be not afraid for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, Psalms 91. You are in the dark when you indulge in depression, feeling sorry for yourself, anger, or ill will. When you condemn yourself or others, these are pestilences of the darkness. Anger towards others reflects your emotionally charged state. You violate the law of harmony and it will bring you trouble. Forgive yourself and others and hail God in your midst to heal your anger. Pray, thank you, God, for removing my anger. And we all might have a little bit of frustration that we're dealing with moving through this Saturnian energy, but this is the guidance, and as I said, direct line from Spirit as we move through this time. So I would imagine that this is probably honestly a very useful tool. Forgiveness as a remedy also besides the shungite and labradorite as we're moving through the rest of this week. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you also think they would enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments. I am so grateful for your presence on my channel. Let me know if there's any other stones that you guys think are especially useful during this period of time. Also, if you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. That's very valuable information to me, and I really honestly very much value and appreciate your presence on my channel and your feedback and what you guys have to say. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of those boards linked in my description box below, and come back with me on Friday, you guys. We got a big video to get into. This is going to be the video for the full moon lunar eclipse. Remember also, Mercury is going retrograde on Saturday. Because I will have so much to talk about with the full moon eclipse in the next video, I probably won't spend too much time discussing Mercury stationing retrograde, but don't worry, because we will get caught back up with that energy in my video for Monday. So lots and lots of astrology coming at us. If you guys have been watching my past couple videos, I'm talking about how March is just like jam-packed, loaded. We've got so much astrology happening in the month of March, so I will be back to talk about some more of it. You don't want to miss it, you guys. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful midpoint to your week, and until then, bye guys.